Ever mixed a refreshing Cuba Libre or enjoyed a classic daiquiri? These iconic cocktails wouldn't be the same without Bacardi rum. But have you ever wondered about the story behind the iconic bat logo? Let's open up the history of Bacardi with a journey back in time to meet the man who started it all, Facundo Bacardi Maso. This isn't your typical success story. We'll explore how a shop owner in 19th century revolutionized rum making and built a global brand that continues to thrive today. So, grab your mojito and get ready for a story filled with innovation, resilience, and a touch of good fortune. The early days in Cuba. Facundo Bacardi Maso, a wine merchant from Spain, arrived in Santiago, Cuba in 1830. Facundo found work in a wine and spirits shop, learning the ins and outs of the business. He married Amelia Lucia Victoria Moreau, a woman from a wealthy family. While this might sound like a shortcut to riches, it actually wasn't. Tragedy struck when they lost two of their children. Facundo wasn't one to give up. He opened his own store, selling a variety of goods. Back then, rum was seen as a cheap, rough drink. Facundo wanted to improve rum, so he spent nearly 10 years experimenting. He developed a special yeast and a charcoal filtering process to make the rum smoother. He also created two different rum types, a strong one and a lighter one, and then blended them together. Finally, he aged the rum in barrels to mellow the flavor. In 1862, Facundo and his brother bought a distillery to make rum for more people. The idea for the Bacardi bat logo came from Facundo's wife, who noticed bats in the brewery. She knew bats were a symbol of good luck in Spain, so she suggested using them on the bottle. This was a smart idea because many people back then couldn't read. The Bacardi company faced challenges in the late 1800s due to Cuba's political situation. Facundo's son, Emilio, was a supporter of Cuban independence and was even imprisoned for a while. Despite the challenges, the company survived. After the Cuban War of Independence, two famous cocktails, the Cuba Libre and the daiquiri, were invented using Bacardi rum. Building a brand and facing challenges, Facundo understood that a good product needed a strong brand identity. He incredibly labeled each bottle with a signature Bacardi mark, ensuring quality control and building trust with consumers. This dedication to quality became a hallmark of the Bacardi brand. However, the road wasn't always smooth. Fires, economic downturns, and even a devastating earthquake in 1862 threatened the growing company. But Facundo persevered, rebuilding and refining his rum-making process. He also focused on marketing his product, attending international exhibitions, and promoting Bacardi as a high-end spirit. Bacardi also started selling rum internationally in the early 1900s. The first bottling plants were opened in Barcelona and New York City. The New York plant closed because of prohibition in the United States, but Cuba became a popular vacation spot for Americans during this time, which helped Bacardi rum sales. The company built a new headquarters in Havana in 1930 and began making beer in addition to rum. Bacardi's international expansion was largely due to the efforts of Enrique Schweg, who helped make Bacardi the leading rum brand around the world. The company opened bottling plants in Mexico and Puerto Rico in the 1930s and later expanded into the United States directly. Family legacy and global expansion. Facundo's son, Facundo Jr., played a crucial role in expanding the business. He recognized the potential of the American market and positioned Bacardi as a premium rum perfect for cocktails. This strategy proved successful, especially during the American Prohibition era, when Bacardi thrived in neighboring Cuba, becoming a favorite among American tourists. The Bacardi family faced another challenge when Fidel Castro's revolution came to power in 1959. Their Cuban assets were seized, forcing them to rebuild their company in Puerto Rico. This resilience and ability to adapt are key takeaways from the Bacardi story. Bacardi and the Cuban Revolution. In 1959, the Bacardi family supported the Cuban Revolution. But after the revolution turned communist, they disagreed with Fidel Castro's policies. The Cuban government then took over all of Bacardi's assets in Cuba without paying them. This almost put the company out of business. Luckily, Bacardi had already started making rum in other places like Puerto Rico and Mexico. They had also moved their important business information to the Bahamas before the revolution. This allowed Bacardi to keep operating. In 1965, Bacardi set up its main office in Bermuda, where it remains today. Bacardi's journey in the United States. Bacardi has a long history in the United States. In 1964, Bacardi opened its U.S. offices in Miami, Florida. The building was designed by Cuban architect Enrique Gutierrez to be hurricane-proof. It used a unique system of steel cables and pulleys to allow the building to move slightly during strong winds. The exterior walls were decorated with colorful abstract art by Brazilian artist Francisco Brennant. Bacardi expanded its Miami location in 1973 with a new building designed by architect Ignacio Carrera Justiz. This building was also built to withstand hurricanes, inspired by the way trees with strong roots resist wind. The walls were made of large glass panels with murals designed and made in France. The Bacardi Act. In 1999, Bacardi lobbied for a law in the United States called the Bacardi Act. This law stopped companies in the US from registering trademarks for products that the Cuban government had taken over after the revolution. Bacardi wanted this law because they were in a legal battle with the Cuban government over the Havana Club rum brand. The Bacardi Act has been controversial. A worldwide trade group called the WTO ruled that the law was unfair. However, the law is still in effect in the US today. Havana Club rum is another brand that the Cuban government took over after the revolution. The original owners of Havana Club are no longer in business. Bacardi has used this story to try to hurt the sales of Havana Club rum in the US. Bacardi and Cuba. Bacardi rum isn't widely available in Cuba anymore. The most popular rum there is Havana Club, made by a company the Cuban government took control of after the revolution in 1959. Bacardi purchased the rights to the Havana Club brand from the original owners, the Arechabala family. The Cuban government, along with a French company called Pernod Ricard, sells Havana Club rum around the world, except in the US and its territories. Bacardi made their own version of Havana Club rum in Puerto Rico, following the original recipe, and sells it only in the US. There's an ongoing legal battle between Bacardi and the Cuban government over the Havana Club trademark outside of the US. In 2006, Bacardi moved its US headquarters to a new location in Coral Gables, Florida. This move consolidated their operations across several buildings in Miami. The former Bacardi headquarters buildings in Miami in 2009 became a historic landmark, recognized for their unique design and contribution to the city's identity. Acquisitions. Bacardi Limited, the company famous for Bacardi rum, has bought many other drink brands over the years. This is called acquisition, and it's a way for companies to grow their businesses. In 1993, Bacardi merged with Martini and Rossi, an Italian company that makes martini vermouth and sparkling wines. In 1998, Bacardi bought brands like Dewar's Scotch Whiskey and Bombay Sapphire Gin. Bacardi continued to grow by buying Grey Goose vodka in 2004 and Illegal Mezcal, a high-quality mezcal, in 2023. Most recently, in December 2023, they gained majority control of Teeling, an Irish whiskey producer. The future of Bacardi. Bacardi continues to innovate and experiment with new flavors and expressions. From flavored rums to premium age varieties, they cater to a diverse range of palates. The company also focuses on sustainability, implementing eco-friendly practices throughout their production process. So, next time you raise a glass of Bacardi rum, remember the story of Facundo Bacardi and his family's remarkable journey. It's a story of innovation, resilience, and a whole lot of bat-tastic luck. We encourage you to try the classic cocktails we featured and explore the many other delicious recipes available online using Bacardi rum. Don't forget to subscribe to Giant Success Stories for more interesting stories behind the brands you love. And if you have a favorite Bacardi rum cocktail, share your recipe in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation flowing.